Did you know there's more than one way to enjoy these conversations? Select episodes are available to view on Spotify and YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe to get notifications of new videos as soon as they post. You'll find my box talk technique there, along with my ABC exercise, my underscored exercise for the manuscript speaking style, and you'll find all three of those exercises in my 0 to 60 confidence video. And I want to connect with my MCs. Follow and connect with me on LinkedIn as well to see how I approach organizational change management and communication through the corporate lens and in the DEI space. Search Marcia Cork on YouTube and LinkedIn to subscribe and connect. Now, on to, those F&C words. Be sure to give the show a 5-star rating and review when we're done. It's Friday, y'all. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I am happy to be in the company of my MCs again this Friday. It's been a good week. How about you guys? Has it been a good week for you? Hopefully it has. And if not, maybe this gives you all the more reason to look forward to the weekend. But it's been a good week for me. I am loving the feedback and the reviews that some of you have given on Apple Podcasts already. Where are my Spotify ratings and reviews at though? I know people have this Android versus Apple war going on, and that transfers into the apps that you all use for the podcast. So my Apple listeners are showing up. Are you going to give me some ratings and reviews? You know, I need that motivation to keep this going. So yeah, it's been a good week. A listener messaged me early in the week and said, I am an MC. That was it. Just those 4 words. And those 4 little words did so much for my spirit. I needed that. You know, you need that type of positive reinforcement because when you do something like this, when you start a podcast or you start posting content on social media, when you're fresh out the gate and you don't have followers and you're trying to grow your following and things like that, you just never know how that content's going to be received and how long it's going to take for it to actually catch on and get some good feedback and resonate with people. So these little things, you all commenting on a post, you taking time to actually write a review and rate the show, you all engaging by actually sending in a question, those little things, they are a really, really big deal. So thank you. Thank you for making my week. So it's episode 10. And in honor of episode 10, I thought I would produce a 10 things list. So as we embrace change and we accept that we'll be presenting ourselves to new audiences, what can we do to kind of mitigate the anxiety that those new environments, those new spaces and places presents? What are our biggest fears and our concerns? So I have this list that I share. In general, it's for just improving the outcome when we're speaking in public. And I modify the list depending on the conversation that I'm having with people. So, for example, on my blog on marciacork.com/blog, this list is tailored for speaking opportunities. But again, I modify it depending on the conversation that I'm having, the audience that I'm talking to just determine, what is it that you can do to minimize the outcome and enhance the positive experience for a situation. So realistically speaking, every time we speak, it isn't always a public speaking opportunity in the traditional sense. But what I and my MCs are dealing with and discussing weekly are the countless ways, the different ways that personal and professional change has us presenting ourselves to new audiences, to experiencing culture shock, and then having to navigate, sometimes some cross-cultural communication, dealing with conflict and tough discussions that we have to resolve, and bringing authenticity into new spaces and to new environments. So sometimes that's a new job. Sometimes it's a job interview. Sometimes it's a networking event. It can be a new work group or a new professional group. Sometimes it's when you're visiting a new therapist or working with a new coach. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to put some controls in place to reduce the fear and the anxiety of speaking publicly and presenting yourself in a new environment. Okay? So here we go. A 10 list for episode 10. 10 ways to improve your public speaking opportunity or your outcomes for success before you say a single word. Let's go. So, one thing we can do, we can study the climate. Actually, get to know the climate that we are walking into. Context is everything. How much do you already understand about the climate and the culture before you inject yourself into it? So from the examples I gave earlier, is it a new job? Is it preparing for a job interview? Is it going to a networking event for the first time? What's the tone? Is it formal? Is it casual? How diverse is it? Are you able to get any demographic data that might help you prepare for that new experience? When people are going to speak, one of the things that I tell them is to see how much you can find out about the audience beforehand. Try to get your hands on that demographic data. If there is a point of contact for planning the event or planning whatever that event or opportunity is there a point of contact that you can get that type of information from? Just kind of level set some expectations. What will people be wearing? Right? What's the subject matter for the day? Are people is it managers? Is it executive staff? Those types of things. What is it that you can find out about the climate ahead of time so that you are prepared for that climate? So you're not a fish out of water, so you don't stand out, because that's the type of thing that's going to make you uncomfortable, make you anxious about the opportunity, and may leave you feeling uncomfortable if you do not blend in with the rest of the environment. Okay, so one thing you can do is study the climate in advance. Alongside that, look the part. So you want to reflect yourself well. Reflect, if you have a product or service that you're going to be presenting for the first time, if you are perhaps introducing yourself to your client base, or um, trying to take on a new client base, you want to look the part. You want your image to be consistent with those you serve, but also with the climate, piggybacking what we were saying about learning the climate. I know all these conversations are going to point back to authenticity, to, standing out and selling what makes you unique. And there's a way to do that, to look the part, but still reflect or not lose your authenticity, and what makes you stand out doesn't take away from your unique selling point. But what we're talking about here is minimizing the discomfort. And the things that make you uncomfortable sometimes is just the uncertainty. So when you're wondering what everyone else is going to be wearing, what everyone else is going to be doing, what everyone else will be presenting, and you don't know this information for yourself, then it's going to make you anxious. So whatever you can do to find out about these places and spaces in advance are going to reduce that anxiety and make you feel more comfortable. And that's what this is about. This is about improving the outcome. What can you do to improve the outcome before you get there, to put you more at ease with adapting to this new space, this new place. Okay? So try to look the part, find out what you can, create an avatar, right? What do the people here look like? What do the people here sound like? What are the people here interested in? What types of conversations are we going to have? Okay? Think about those topics as well. Number three, a third thing that you can do to improve the outcome of the experience: dress comfortably. This week I've been talking about the proud stance and standing comfortably for about a minute, the amount of time it takes to respond to a question. And one of the things that I say is you want to dress comfortably. You want to be comfortable. You want to Not wear anything that's going to cause a distraction, that's going to cause you to fidget with your clothes, adjust clothes, pull and tug and pull your clothes out of places and spaces. I don't want you to do that. So, just as I was saying in the conversations about the proud stance, you want to dress comfortably so that you aren't doing those things, and that'll put you more at ease because there's nothing like being uncomfortable in an outfit, in a suit jacket that's too tight, in pants that are too tight, in heels that are uncomfortable, because that's all you can focus on. When you're uncomfortable, it is hard to focus on anything else besides that discomfort. And so you're not going to have a great experience because your attention is elsewhere. So minimizing those distractions, being comfortable and not having to worry about hair in your face and things being too snug, so uncomfortable that you can't breathe. You're just taking away another distraction and allowing you to focus then on the matter at hand. Focus on being your best. Focus on looking and sounding and feeling your best. Another thing we can do, number 4 on the list to reduce your speaking anxiety. PBS is my acronym for pause, breathe, and slow down. The first thing we do when we're nervous is we start to speak too quickly, right? And we get winded. We run out of breath. And it's not a good feeling to be winded. So, this technique is something that you should practice consistently. Pause, breathe, and slow down. I always suggest practicing it in front of a mirror or recording yourself so that you can actually hear what that sounds like. But you want to pay attention to the pace and to the rhythm of your speaking voice. Because if you find that you rush when you're nervous, then you need to be more deliberate about slowing down. Take longer pauses between words. Take deep breaths, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth when you feel like you're rushing and you're starting to get winded. It's very similar, excuse me, it's very similar to trying to catch your breath while you're running or jogging. Okay, so my tip for that, I tell people to inhale and say PBS to yourself quietly. All right, actually saying it is enough of a pause. Inhale and say PBS. It will remind you to pause, breathe, slow down, and pace yourself. Okay, that's one of the best and easiest things you can do to make things even just sound and feel more conversational as as you practice speaking publicly. Pause, breathe, and slow down. All right. A fifth thing we can do to improve the outcome: invite a friend. Everything is better with a friend, right? Whether it's a networking group, a professional group, if you're doing your first podcast, any type of opportunity like that, sometimes it puts you more at ease to invite a friend. Now, that is a crutch for sure. It's not something that you can always do, but sometimes it helps take the edge off. Sometimes, especially with networking groups or, joining a professional group, sometimes that first time you need someone holding your hand. Everything's better with a friend. So if it is an occasion, if it is an event or opportunity that is conducive to inviting a friend, then that's one thing that you can do. Number 6 on the list, develop an agenda. Okay. If there isn't one already constructed for you, create it. Don't wing it. Speaking opportunities, yes, they're a great time to be authentic and put yourself out there, but you want to be your best self. So we're talking to new audiences, addressing new audiences, making first and new impressions on people. So you want to make every minute of your time count and every minute of their time count. When we're talking about speaking opportunities in particular, I have a hard time convincing people who think that they are very good at talking off the cuff. I have a hard time convincing them to develop some structure, to build some structure around the event and the occasion. Because some people just feel comfortable winging it. And I don't want to take that away from them, but there's always an opportunity to improve. And there's nothing like knowing what you're getting into. So that's for yourself, but then that's also for the people that are going to be interacting with you. It's always great to know what to expect, to get some type of preview of what the day is going to go like, what the night, the line of events, the sequence of events. Always good to know those things in advance. So when you can, develop an agenda or ask for the agenda in advance. That actually is very calming. Like we said, it sets expectations, lets people know what it is they're getting themselves into or what they're getting out of it. So, another way that you can improve the outcome of an event, opportunity, speaking opportunity, develop an agenda or ask for an agenda. All right. And to piggyback that, number 7, have a script. Again, don't wing it. All right. If you've taken time to carefully construct a speech, if there's a speaking opportunity at this event or this occasion, if you have an opportunity to curate the discussion, then you don't want to miss out on any of those key points. So I always recommend working from a bulleted list of main points or again, those agenda items. This helps you stay on topic, and it's a great way of knowing in advance how much time it's going to take to get through something. So, if this is, for example, a virtual call or a meeting, if you have an opportunity to present, within that networking group or that professional group, it helps you make the most of the time, and it's a great way to work in whether you're going to have any additional time for follow up questions and for comments. When you play it by ear, when you wing it, you don't know how things are going to turn out, right? You don't know how much time you're going to have left. And sometimes you need that additional time to be able to engage, to connect with people, to share. If you want to point them to social media, or if you want to provide an email address, or like I said, get questions and comments from them, and you run out of time, then you'll be disappointed and you won't feel fulfilled for having accomplished what you set out to accomplish. And the simple way to do that is again to work from an agenda where you've already predetermined the amount of time it takes to get through all of your points, or to have that script to work from some note cards and remind yourself of the amount of time that you have dedicated for every talking point and area.
All
Number
right.
8, apply CPR. That's credibility, personality, and relatability. As we get comfortable with one another, you're going to hear me say that a lot. That's one of my techniques for, as I say, giving life to any speaking opportunity, right? You give life to that speaking opportunity by reflecting yourself as a credible person, giving people a glimpse into your personality, and being relatable. It's a technique that I say goes along with the social media marketing technique of the know, like, and trust factor. People wanting to engage with people that they know, that they like, and that they trust. So you want to establish yourself as the credible source. Okay. And in this new space, this new environment, presenting yourself to new audiences, you want to let people know that you have something to say. You are a force to be reckoned with, and you're a subject matter expert. All right. So you are establishing credibility. So you want to go in being able to talk about what makes you a subject matter expert, what makes you knowledgeable in this, on this particular topic, why you deserve to be here, and spend time, like we said, developing that agenda, having some note cards available, having an elevator pitch established, or preparing a pitch deck for the occasion if there's an opportunity to present. What information can you share to let people know how credible you are on this subject? All right, so make sure you apply credibility. And then make yourself likable. Let people know who you are. Give them a glimpse into your personality. All right. Are you the life of the party? Then you need to be that day. You need to go in with all the jokes, all the stories, all those likable qualities that make you who you are. Give them some glimpse into your personality and be relatable. Even when it comes to hiring, our biases. Our biases are toward the people we already feel like we know because of that relatability factor. So the stories you share, the examples you give, all that stuff is in the details. When you tell a story that casually mentions, where you went to school or what sorority or what fraternity you're in, or if you name drop, you name people you know, all those things are going to be a part of what makes you relatable, and they can be used against you, but they can also be used to help you. And so that's part of the relatability factor in the CPR technique. So establish yourself as a credible resource, a subject matter expert, really knowledgeable about the field, the industry that you're representing for this particular event, but then also be personable and relatable. Number 9, visualize your success. Memorize and visualize yourself getting through this occasion, getting through the speaking component of this occasion successfully. You've done things like determine an agenda. You may have done things like memorize any jokes you want to tell, the stories that you want to tell, any facts or statistics that you want to share, things that add flavor to the conversation. You've memorized your introduction, how you want to introduce yourself, your elevator pitch. Memorizing those things and knowing them so that you can say them as you would during a conversation. Memorizing them and knowing them versus reading them just adds to your credibility. They make the content feel more like second nature, like I've said before, having that knowledge base to draw on. Knowing those things and being able to rattle them off is impressive. I always say that. I think about the things that impress me. And I know that when I hear smart people say smart things and they just rattle off facts, statistics, data, I'm always impressed. And so, since we're talking about establishing credibility here, establishing yourself as a knowledgeable subject matter expert, having that content just feel like second nature takes away the anxiety and actually makes you feel much more confident. You feel like you have something to offer. You have information to share that other people won't be able to share. Okay? That's what will make you stand out from the rest. So visualize yourself sharing that information successfully. Memorize that information and visualize yourself getting through those speaking opportunities successfully. I call it a dress rehearsal in your head. You are visualizing, running through, and sequencing your speech, the things that you're going to say, so that you know exactly where you want to inject a quote or a story or a testimonial. You might want to bust out into song. You'll know where to do those things because you will have done the dress rehearsal in your head and run through those things several times. All right. So, number 9, visualize your success. And number 10, we've talked about it before and I'll talk about it again. Practice your proud stance. Combined, you should be practicing on a daily basis what confidence looks like, what confidence sounds like. And you can do that by doing a number of things: my ABC exercise to build confidence, doing my box talk techniques to improve confidence, but also just doing the proud stance and getting to the point where you can stand comfortably without fidgeting, pacing, or rocking back and forth. All right. So, that was 10 things you can do to improve either your public speaking opportunities or improve the outcome of being in a new environment and a new space without even thinking about the public speaking component. Just ways to improve that outcome. I hope you've enjoyed this list. I want to hear from my MCs. I say that in every episode. I even put it in all the show notes. I want to hear from you. Is there a conflict that you're working through? Is there a person that you need to have a difficult conversation with and you don't know where to start? Reach out to me. I include that information in the show notes. You can reach me by email at marcia@marciacork.com. You can DM me on Instagram. You can find me at It's Marcia Cork. And of course, you can submit those audio recordings. And I have a link in the episode notes that will allow you to open the dialog box that allows you to record that message. So I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Bye bye.